Hello everyone, and welcome to another Top 5 Records video, and another one in the series in which I'm taking a closer look at the full body of work of David Bowie. And today I'm going to be talking about his live album Something in the Air, or at least it was released under that title 1 or 2 years ago during the David, even longer, 2020, uh, during the David Bowie Brilliant Life Adventure series, which were exclusive on his website. Now, they are still available on Discogs, and I even found one of these albums in the Fnac in France, so it's not that exclusive, and we should be glad too, because it's a very interesting series, which might entertain a lot of Bowie fans who haven't heard these records. Now, this record was recorded in Paris in the Montmartre during the tour of his last record, Hours, which was not well received. But taking a look at this live album, I think it shows that Hours' main problem is the production, because these songs live do have something to say. But first, I want to get a little bit into the history of this, because although I just recently, a couple of years ago, bought it on vinyl, this record, Live in Paris 1999, is one of my first bootlegs. So I have a different emotion towards this record. I was about 15 or 15 years old so 20 years ago, when I downloaded the full show. I believe it's 80 minutes or something like that, in one file, in one file through something like Napster or Kazaa, because I was curious about David Bowie live, and where I lived, it was tough to download full albums. In those days, discographies were not that easy. There were not a lot of official live releases, and buying CDs, it was well, the record stores in my town just didn't have big archives. So you could find some of the studio albums of Bowie, but not even all studio albums. At that age, I was still struggling to find Ziggy Stardust, because I was very curious about the narrative, because it was a rock opera. Narrative is pretty loose. Nevertheless, I was curious and eager to find anything by Bowie. And then suddenly on Kazaa, I found one file with all these songs, the entire show. So I burned a CDR of it, and whenever I wanted to listen to the show, I listened to the entire show. And I have, that's so bizarre, such fond memories of listening to this show. The entirety, the whole, it makes, it's as a whole, it's a great show. He opens with a very beautiful, intimate rendition of Life on Mars. Then goes to Thursday's Child, one of the best songs of the album, and Something in the Air, again, one of the best songs of that album. And that's just side one. But it sets a mood for a different kind of David Bowie live show. The dynamic between rocker and softer song is completely different. During this tour and on this show, Bowie makes it more intimate. He cares less about being a rock star, and there's more tranquility, more easily looking back. There's a slight air of nostalgia, but not nostalgia to the Ziggy Stardust era or the eras that people know about. There is a more intimate nostalgia, and that makes it so brilliant. I think this is one of the best live albums by Bowie. Side two, we go to Word on a Wing. I think that's one of the most beautiful songs of the Station to Station albums, or Station to Station album. And the way he delivers it here, you hear there's an aging in the voice, but his motivation is more sincere. He's more involved than in a lot of these 70s recordings. It's as if he's really entering a different phase in his career, which is more oriented at what he wants to do himself than on what the audience might desire. Now, actually, as an audience member, I wasn't there, of course, but I'm an audience member at home. I do desire that. I do like it when Bowie becomes so personal. After Word on a Wing, he gets to Can't Help Thinking About Me, which is one of the songs that really nods towards the album that he did not release, the Toy album. Around this time, he started working on an album called Toy, which was released later on. I'll do that in a series as well, in which he reflects on his old songs but does them aged into his 50s. So there's an element of aging again in that record, but singing old songs. I think Can't Help Thinking About Me is his weakest effort on this record. It's just not such a good song. I, that's the thing. These choices are so personal, but most of these songs have been released, and we have had the chance to get a personal experience with that and a personal love. And a lot of these songs are just purely simply great. Kind of Thinking About Me doesn't have those two elements of quality, of personal experience, at least not for me. So that for me is a weaker moment. And China Girl, it's really good. Next side, Always Crashing in the Same Car. Not his strongest live performance of that song. I've heard him do these vocals, yeah, 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 yeah. I've heard him do that better, you know. But nevertheless, he sings pure. And I love that. Survive, one of the great songs of ours. It also has a beautiful video clip. Then Drive In Saturday. Doot, 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 do let me put my arms around your head. I like it that he does specifically this song. No, Leila, we're not going to play with your crocodile. I'm an alligator. You're on. Changes. 7, another great hour song. Repetition. I love Repetition. I Can't Read. Does a great job on I Can't Read. Then the speed just goes up a bit with The Pretty Things Are Going to Hell, which is so much better than on the record. And Rebel, the studio record it is. Rebel, great song as well. Great way to win it off. Overall, no, Lay, give me the crocodile or the alligator. No. But you notice it squeaks. I'm recording audio. You get it after the video. So, actually, Layla has Bowie eyes, but you couldn't see that in the video. Now, this album, this live album, I think it's one of the intimate, emotional highlights of Bowie. I'm so happy they finally released it, and this is a good sounding release. This should be available broader because I think it shows such a great side of Bowie that's often been overlooked that might get people into Bowie who otherwise would not listen to him. So I'm curious. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.